Hi everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining us, whoever's here. I'd like to just give it one more minute before we kickstart our program. Just give everybody a chance to join. Okay, let's get started. Hi everyone who's taken the time to join us today. Welcome. And my name is Tina. I'm the marketing manager here at 79 Consulting. I do the standard marketing activities like brand awareness, campaigns, collateral, lead generation, all that good stuff. Today's webinar is going to be covering the very exciting topic of demand planning and how NetSuite's module can help optimize inventory demand and supply. We're going to cover some terminology around demand planning there and their application within supply chain management. And you're also going to see a walkthrough demo in our NetSuite environment. Before we get started, I'd like to just touch on the fact that this is going to be a NetSuite test account, which is a bit slower than what you may be used to. So please be patient with us if the pages take a little longer to load. We have a chat feature available, so if you need to ask any questions, please do so. Please post them at any point during the webinar, and we have a team member who's on standby ready to answer your questions in real time. And lastly, there are also going to be a couple of polls which I will share during the webinar, and this is just to get to know you a little better and to help improve our future sessions. Okay, if you're new here and you haven't heard about us, our name is 79 Consulting. We were founded as Twarna, which we still go by, although 79 Consulting is our global brand. Our name was a bit hard to pronounce, so we changed it from Twarna to 79 Consulting. But rest assured, we've been around for well over 12 years. We were founded in 2007 as a Salesforce and NetSuite consulting firm, and in 2008 we became a NetSuite solution provider. Our first suite app, SkyDoc, which is a storage solution for NetSuite, was developed in 2014, and now we have over 8 apps on suiteapp.com, and we continue to provide support, managed services, and integration services for NetSuite clients. Let's introduce our speaker for today, who is Kishore. Kishore Boja is our founder and director. He founded Twarna in 2007 and has been very actively involved in implementations. Now, with over a team of over 70 consultants, Kishore has diverted his efforts to marketing activities. Hi, Kishore.
Hey, thanks, Tina. Thanks for the introduction. Hey, hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm excited to share our insights with you on this webinar.
Okay. Kishore, let's get started with the most basic question of this webinar. What exactly is demand planning?
That's a great question. Demand planning is supply chain management process of forecasting or predicting the demand for products to ensure they can be delivered to satisfy customers' requested expected delivery dates. The goal here is to strike a balance between having sufficient inventory levels to meet customer needs without producing a surplus. Ultimately, excess product on the shelf is capital tied up.
And why would demand planning be critical to a business?
One of the reasons you have demand planning planning is to make sure you have optimum levels of inventory. Um, but there are a few more important reasons that I'll go over. When product isn't available for customers to purchase because of stocking issues, businesses will end up losing a lot of revenue. Even more importantly, over time, they could lose the customer to a competitor. The other side of the coin is sitting on excess of unused inventory that incurs unnecessary space and production costs. With demand planning, business leaders can stay in front of the market shifts and make proactive decisions while being responsive to their customer needs. An important note here is that demand planning allows a business to be proactive compared to reactive.
Kishore, let's talk about how NetSuite handles demand planning.
So now that we've covered high level of what demand planning is and the importance this process plays in a business, let's discuss what NetSuite offers within the demand planning module. The native NetSuite demand planning module is specifically designed to provide the user with the ability to predict required inventory based on historical demand or sales forecasts. The calculated demand plan can then be leveraged to analyze supply requirements on inventory levels or required production of assembled goods. One of the key features that NetSuite delivers is the ability to easily define multiple inventory locations with real time visibility. Locations can be organized hierarchically, or for global businesses, the country can be defined as the location. During the planning process, the system can be set up to automatically create transfer orders between locations where necessary by utilizing a replenish by location report. Demand can be evaluated and presented in a number of different ways using the demand planning process. The menu structure is laid out in a way that shows the process to calculate demand, review the demand plans, and edit when required. Once satisfied with the demand plan calculations, we can then generate the supply plans, review and edit those, and finally generate a planned purchase orders and planned work orders.
Right. Thanks, Kishore. What would be some of the most common planning methods?
A demand can be calculated based on any of the following methods. Available planning methods in NetSuite are linear regression. User provides demand to project future inventory based on the ordinary least square regression method. That is linear regression. Moving averages uses the moving average of historical demand to calculate the overall average stock level. This provides demand to examine the seasonal trend of inventory flow and then project a similar seasonal trend for the future stock levels. Last and final demand planning methodology that NetSuite provides is called sales forecast. When using NetSuite for your sales operations, this option uses forward-looking sales forecast data, such as opportunities, estimates, sales orders, or work orders, to project the inventory demand. NetSuite demand planning can be used to offer your sales team important product availability information during the sales process by introducing an expected ship date by the automatically calculated available to promise function.
You just mentioned available to promise, Kishore. Can you explain what that functionality is?
Sure. Available to promise, it's also called ATP. Included, this is included within NetSuite demand planning and can be determined by one of two different calculations. One is cumulative ATP with look ahead. What this does is using the cumulative ATP with look ahead method, supply estimates are cumulative based on all outstanding orders within a horizon. This allows you to account for shortages that may occur in the future. And the second one is called discrete ATP. The discrete ATP method reviews the amount available in each supply order and provides an available date for the given quantity. These supply calculations are based on future dated non-posting transactions like purchase orders, sales orders, and work orders. These supply calculations offer added visibility for purchasing and sales departments into the projected ship date of goods during an ordering process. This allows the user to check item availability based on open and outstanding supply type orders and demand based orders. We can see all of our demand and supply needs by viewing gross requirement inquiry. The gross requirements inquiry provides an overview of the progressive supply and demand cycles by listing quantities required and quantities supplied on each transaction date listed. Each transaction and date is listed along with more on hand or less on hand quantity of the transaction, as well as the resulting total quantity on hand for one item.
Okay. Kishore, then how do demand plans work?
A demand plan records the expected future demand for an item based on previous or projected demand. NetSuite allows you to automatically generate demand plans or to manually enter an item demand plan. The user can elect to analyze demand by using one of the following methods. Set a time for examining an item's historical sales data and forecast future sales with similar trends. Or use the current entered demand based on open opportunities, quotes, and existing sales orders.
Okay. And what are supply plans?
Supply plans are the recorded recommended schedules for procuring and or manufacturing of additional supply of an item. NetSuite utilizes two options for replenishment methods for an item: reorder point and time phased. NetSuite will incorporate reorder points, lead times, safety stock, preferred stock level, along with current demand when calculating the item supply plan. Multi-tiered assemblies are considered. Generated supply plans will suggest or auto-generate sub-assembly work orders as well as components required for the build.
Okay, thank you, Kishore. Now, on to the first poll of our session. Audience, you should see the poll pop up on your screen right now. If you're not seeing it, please do let me know. Kishore, the demand planning module has a lot to offer, but there are also some challenges to its use. Correct? Can we please touch on this?
Sure. NetSuite, you know, full demand planning suite includes the newer supply plan workbench interface, which is very powerful and well designed tool. However, there are a few challenges in configuring and using demand planning in NetSuite. If the NetSuite environment has not been configured to fully utilize the newer workbench functionality, component level demand and supply analysis could feel cumbersome and manual. When the user requires adjustments to the current plans, manual updates to regenerate these plans are required. If you're experiencing any of the following complaints in your NetSuite account, it could be a configuration issue. System is not recommending purchase orders for component level items of bombs, or system is not recommending work orders on the mass create work orders page. The system could be looking at past demand instead of future demand where there's not enough history in NetSuite to be effective. Or even if overbuying is occurring of raw materials, or frequency out of stock of interval of inventory and raw materials. So improper use of lead times, production start dates, end dates will affect the way NetSuite suggests when to purchase and build a product. And that's the very critical piece where you need to configure the items correctly for NetSuite demand planning and supply planning to work correctly. So if something is not working, I would start there as the as part of the first diagnosis.
Right. Um, Got it, Kishore. What about KPIs when it comes to demand planning? And can you tell us why they're important?
Sure. Given how rapidly market changes and demand ebbs and flows, successful demand planning requires accurate real-time information. Demand planning KPIs are designed to provide up-to-date intelligence about activities that are critical to planning. Here are some of the common KPIs for demand planning, and they can vary from business to business. The first one is forecast versus actual sales. It's also called as forecast error. This is the simplest KPI, and can be delivered weekly, monthly, quarterly, month to date, year to date, or all the above, depending on the product or service and how quickly decisions need to be made. The formula is very simple: actual sales minus forecast sales. The next one is forecast accuracy. Forecast accuracy is the big picture demand planning KPI. This tells you how accurate your predictions for demand and sales have been. The better your forecast accuracy, the more aligned your operational costs are with demand and the higher your profits. It's basically one minus absolute of sales minus forecast actual sales minus forecast sales by actual sales. And the next one is bias. And this is, according to me, very important to keep track of. Bias is also known as mean forecast error. Is the tendency for forecast errors to trend in one direction, consistently higher or lower than actual sales results. It's important to track bias, so if detected, it can be corrected before it skews forecast for too long in one direction, which could cause excess inventory costs. And the formula is simple: sum of observed forecast errors over multiple periods by total number of observed periods. The next one is order fill rate, which is basically order fill rate is mostly used as inventory management KPI, but filing customer orders quickly can influence long term demand by satisfying those customers and leading to repeat business and positive word of mouth. And it's calculated by number of customers orders shipped by number of orders fulfilled multiplied by 100. And the last one that I've listed out is perfect order rate. I'm sure a lot of warehouse folks would love this. And perfect order rate KPI measures how many orders are shipped without incident, that is, damaged goods, inaccurate orders, late shipments, among others. A high perfect order rate should factor into increased or steady demand. A poor perfect order rate will likely induce a drop in demand. And this is calculated by orders completed without incident by total orders placed. So these are some of the KPIs that I've listed, which are very important. Your business might be tracking other KPIs, but we are happy to help you with any KPIs that you need or work in creating KPIs that work for your business.
All right. Now on to the inventory count suite app, and we are going to do this as a live demo in NetSuite. But before that, I would like to tell our audience just a little bit more about the suite app. This was designed by our team to help users sync physical warehouse to inventory on NetSuite, and it utilizes three types of counts, which is serialized, inventory, and lot. Kishore, can we go on to give everybody a quick demo of this suite app?
Sure. Let me start by sharing my screen. Yeah, please let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see your screen, Kishore.
Okay, perfect. So inventory count is a suite app which is used to count the difference between physical inventory and NetSuite inventory and post the inventory adjustment to overcome that difference. We initially built it because a lot of our customers were finding it hard to count inventory inside of NetSuite with the native NetSuite inventory count feature, and they had reached out to us to find an easy way to give them ability to count inventory. So we built this suite app, and you can count inventory in multiple ways, which I'll be showing you. One is by counting inventory on your worksheets and importing them. The next one is item scanning. If you have a store location and if you have inventory in your store, you can start scanning. But also, we also built a new feature called barcode scanner, which is basically you can build a responsive screen that will help you use any device. It could be a laptop, tablet, or a mobile to start counting inventory. And then we've also given built out worksheets that can be easily created for counts. Um, we have two sets of worksheets. One is called bin item worksheet. So you can filter out based on item name, location, bin number, and if it's a serialized or lot numbered. And you can see all the items, and once you filter the data, you can email it directly to the warehouse team member that needs to count, or you can export it into a CSV and send them out. So we also have non-bin item worksheet. So what I'm going to do is, as part of this demo, the first option, first way of counting is just exporting as a CSV. So I can just click on this, and I can open this now, and then you can see the worksheet that's exported. I can start counting by putting the physical quantity here. And then once I complete the count, I can import the same into NetSuite. And I can just show you by. So we've set up a save CSV import so that users can easily import this. So I come to setup, import, export, go to save CSV imports, and we have inventory count suite app import. What we've trying to do is so that users don't have to, go through a lot of screens or mapping to import the inventory count. It'll be automatic as long as they use the right worksheet and the save CSV import. Click on next. I click on next. I'm not changing any mapping, and just say run. So what I've done is I've actually had a inventory count handy on the side, and I'm using that to import and show you that whatever was counted is being imported right now. And I can click on refresh to see the job is it's still processing. While that's getting imported, what I can show you is the other ways to import or count inventory. The next one is barcode scanner, or actually, let me just exit full screen here. So the next one I want to show you is inventory count screen. I go back to the full screen again. Okay. So this is called in item scanning. And what users will do is come here, put in an item number, item name, and select the location and bin. So if I know an existing item, I can put in, or if I have a barcode scanner with me in hand, So I can just scan and then the item name will come up here. So what I'm going to do is right now look at an item that I already have. I'm going to copy this and put the item here. And then I'm going to select the location here. And the location is basically for all the counts. If I have a bin, I can put in, and if it's a serial or lot numbered, I can put in the serial number. And I can add the same item again, or I can add another item. And then whenever I'm done counting, I can click on submit. So basically it's asking me to select all the entries. So I'm selecting everything and clicking on submit. So what it's doing is what we've done initially, which is basically import the inventory through CSV. Now we've actually counted the inventory with a barcode scanner and then submitted it. And then it automatically takes me to the screen, which is inventory count screen. This is more like an inventory control screen, and I'll just come back to this in a bit. But before that, I want to show you the third way of counting inventory. So let me go here. And for this, again, I have to exit from my full screen and then go here. And this is our, again, full screen. And this is our latest feature that we've built, which helps users to actually count inventory with any device. This is responsive design. You could see this on any device like mobile or handheld device or a tablet or a laptop or a computer. It'll show the same way. And it's asking us is to select a warehouse initially. So I can choose any warehouse. I have about 44 of them. I can say, hey, I'm starting to count in 200 engineering. And then so once I select that, and then it says, hey, now start scanning the item. So I can either scan the item or I can import the item manually. So since I know one, I'm going to just say submit. So it comes up the name, and this is the name of the item. The product description is blank, but it's asking me to enter lot number and quantity. So I can just say my lot number is this, quantity is 2, and and if I have more lot numbers and more quantities, I can add those two. I'm randomly adding some additional quantity and show you how it works. And then once all of this is done, I can just submit it, and it gives me a alert. And I can also go back and say, you know what, I want to start now counting in another warehouse. Or I can say, hey, I want to see all the scanned items. What all have I scanned today? And I can see all of them here. Right. So now what I'm going to do is now I'm going to show you where does all of this go? So I've shown you counting in 3 ways. One is where your warehouse team is counting physically on a CSV and importing it back into NetSuite, or they're using a barcode scanner and scanning, or the last one, which is item scanning, which is basically using any device to go scan in the warehouse. Once all of those counts are done, they all come to the screen, and this is called the inventory details, but it's like an inventory count screen, and then it shows me everything that's been counted. Now, if you see, I have about 263 records. So basically, I have about 263 counts that are done. And as a warehouse administrator or manager, I can review all those counts right here and see if I want to process them, post adjustment, or if I want our team to, count again. I can make all of those decisions. Now that I see the warehouse where it was counted, the bin, the item name, what was the physical quantity, what's the NetSuite quantity, if there was any or on order or committed quantity, I see those details also, and I can see the variance. So since the variance quantity is 0 and then average cost is 0, so the estimated price variance is 0 here. But I can see all of these details here. And then if I think, hey, this is too much, I want to, now filter this data by either warehouse. I want to say, let's say I want to just do the engineering. I can click filter here. And then if even in this, right now it's just 4 records, but if I want to filter out by item, I can just filter out by item. So I have that option too, or bins. Now, once I've selected this, I can say mark all or unmark all. So I'm going to just say, select maybe all of it. And then I can say, hey, consolidate records, the account I want to use. So let's say I go to 5,000. I'll say inventory variance account, and I can select the date when we want to put, post the inventory adjustment. And then I can click on process. So what this control screen is giving is the ability for the warehouse administrator to slice and dice the data the way they need, the way they want it, and then post adjustments accordingly, rather than it being a complete black box where they have to process all of them at once or none. And then the user can also click on any of the column headers to sort the data by that column. So that's a good touch where it makes it easy for the users to review the data. And then if they ever want to see, hey, I want to see all the process records, I can click on show process records and click on filter. So this shows me all the process records and also shows me the link to the inventory adjustment that was created. And if I want to see the errors, I can see, hey, has errors, and then click on filter. While we are doing this, I want to just exit my full screen. I just want to show you. So what happens here when I see the errors, and I have about 464 of them, I can actually fix those errors from here itself. It'll tell me what the error is. It says this item is using bin numbers. Please provide bins. So I can open this record separately. I can see that, okay, this is using, so I can edit it, add a bin, and then process it again. So what happens when I do that is, I'm just selecting a bin, it reruns the script to see if the errors are still there. Now you see that there is no error here because the processing error is empty. And then I can go and process this record rather than having to start the count all over again. And like I was telling you, if I want to see process records, let me check this box and say filter. And at the end, I get a record link. And from this record link, I can see the inventory count. And then from here, I can see the inventory adjustment that got posted. So that way, I'm able to trace all the details right from my inventory control screen. So that gives the users the ability to have full control of what's happening and where the data is. And then I also just quickly want to take you through some of the analytics that we've built as part of the inventory count suite app, which is successful inventory count data, failure inventory count data, and processed inventory count data. And then lastly, we also have a configuration screen. So the first configuration screen is what columns do you see here, right? You can, as a user, select, check the columns that you want to show and uncheck the columns you don't want to show. And also, we've built a way where users can easily put in the next count date and the count intervals for any item from this screen. They don't have to go and do complex imports based on locations on the inventory item. And we are using the same fields. It's just that we've provided an easy way for users to enter the data from the screen. They can select the item that they want to work with. So let's say I want to work with a particular item. And then I can select the location that I want to work at. and I can just say, hey, next count date should be, let's say, May 31st, and count interval should be 60. Just a filter. There you go. And then I can just say next count date through a date picker, say this, and then I'll just say every 60 days, I want to count it. So it goes and puts in these details on the inventory for that location. So that makes it easy for users to import this data. So back to you, Tina. This was a quick demo of our inventory count suite app.
Thanks, Kishore. And before we end, I'd like to post the final poll question of our session. Thanks everyone who has participated and really appreciate your time. I hope everyone has seen the question. Okay, thank you for your responses. And that concludes today's webinar. A big thank you to Kishore for providing us with such useful information. If you have any questions, our contact information is up on the screen. Please do reach out to us and we will help clarify any queries. Until next time, hope to see you again at one of our future sessions. Bye bye.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.